I know very little when I begin. I know that first impulse and the first sentence. Very often the first sentence that I begin with is not the first sentence that I end with, but in the case of The Humbling, it is. This book I had one line, which was the opening line of the book, he'd lost his magic. And that was because I'd heard a story about an actor, a very distinguished actor, who at one point in his career was unable to act. And that stayed with me. And I thought this line, he'd lost his magic. And that was what I began with. I just pursued it then line by line. All at once, Axler was alone in the house in the country and terrified of killing himself. Now there was nothing stopping him. Now he could go ahead and do what he found himself unable to do while she was still there. Walk up the stairs to the attic, load the gun, put the barrel in his mouth, and reach down with his long arms to pull the trigger. The gun as the sequel to The Wife.
Philip Roth is one of the most garlanded authors of his generation, and over the last 50 years he's immersed himself in exploring the American condition. But he's despondent about culture in America in 2009.
I don't think reading is in a good situation at the moment. I think the readers have succumbed to the lure of other things. And reading began to suffer with the invention of the screen, that is to say, the movie screen. And then there was the television screen, and finally there was the computer screen. And I don't think that reading is able to win people away from those screens, but rather loses them in great numbers.
Do you think now that the world in which we live is a darker and darker place?
Since I've been alive, it seems the world has been a darker place. I was born into the Depression. I was a little one, didn't know about it, but my parents lived through it. The Depression ended, and then the war began, World War II. I was old enough to understand that. World War II ended and the Cold War began. Now the Cold War ended and the fight with radical Islam has begun. So it's always been a dark place in my experience.
Do you think that happiness in life is very fleeting?
Shall I speak from personal experience?
Yeah, why not?
It's a rare state. It's not the normal state, I don't think. It happens from time to time.
But it's not your natural state?
No, I think not.
Well,
nor is unhappiness. I think one goes along in neutral.
In all, Roth has so far written over 30 books and has 2 short novels about to be published, The Humbling and Nemesis.
do you feel a greater urgency to, as it were, to kind of cut to the chase and produce sharp, shorter novels?
I don't know what the reason is. I've written with the Nemesis, which is coming out a year from now. I will have written 4 short novels in the last 4 years or so. I don't know what causes the short books or what causes the long books. Whatever comes my way, I produce.
But can you imagine starting a long narrative novel?
I would love to do that.
Would you?
Yes.
You have maybe another 25 years writing in you.
25.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're only 75.
That's quite a sentence.
Do you not look forward to that? Is work not your joy?
Work is my joy and my burden. Yes, I would love to spend the rest of my life working on one book. That would mean I wouldn't have to think up another book.
An intensely private man, Philip Roth shies away from the fame that attends his work, and his engagement with the outside world is carefully calibrated.
I get up in the morning, have my breakfast, and go and take a swim, and then I get to work. And I work till 6 o'clock at night, and then I turn the news on and watch the news, and I eat my dinner, and I read, and I go to sleep. So I'm not in the turbulence.
Are you lonely?
No, not lonely.
So, in terms of release and joy, what do you do? I mean, do you listen to music? What do you do? I mean, I can't believe that you lead this life that seems so kind of...
Austere.
Austere.
I do lead a life that seems austere, even to me. It's the only way I know to get my work done, is to get my exercise and pay attention to what's going on in the world, and to read in the evenings, and during the day to devote myself to my work.
And what about frivolity?
I devote one day a year to frivolity, usually.
Oh, and what happens on that?
I don't know what happens. I haven't done it yet this year.
Okay, what did you do last year?
I've forgotten.
Overwhelmed by the 364 other
Yes,
days.
right.
Philip Roth, thank you very much.
Thank you.